Hello boys, men, and sirs, my name is Austin. Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about building some dope friendships. Why? Well, because a lot of us guys kind of suck at not only making but maintaining healthy male friendships. A lot of the conversations around us guys go something like this. Yo, do you see so-and-so run the 40 last week on the game? Yeah man, they're really enjoying his trade-off. They're gonna do great things. I think they're gonna take us all the way to the playoff. Those are great conversations to have, but they don't do a lot when it comes to building strong, emotionally healthy, and sustainable male friendships. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. You're gonna wanna stick around. So in order to have a conversation about friendships, I don't think that this in front of the closet and everything is the best setup. So we're gonna turn the camera around and shoot from my blue thinking chair where we'll think deep thoughts and continue the conversation. So, cut to that. Oh dear. I realized once I got over here that this is pretty dull. I don't really have anything else, so sorry about that. So the context of this is that millions of men across the country are struggling with anxiety, loneliness, depression, and just thoughts of being down in general. And a lot of that can be attributed back to not being emotionally interconnected with other people. And that comes from not having really healthy male friendship. A lot of guys have problems talking about their feelings, and then a lot of guys also struggle with just expressing their feelings, knowing how to process through their emotions, and also let them be known to other guys. Girls are a lot of times encouraged to talk about their feelings and then talk about their feelings again, which is kind of a female privilege that is a lot of times overlooked. As guys, we really don't have that privilege where we have a society and a culture that encourages us to talk about our feelings with other guys and process through those. Talking about your feelings does not make you feminine. Just because girls have the privilege of having a society that welcomes that, it doesn't mean that only girls can. Girls that talk about their feelings make for better women because they're able to have a healthier emotional outlook on life. Guys that don't talk about their feelings results in unhealthy emotional guys, and that makes you a worse dude. But if we can pull together as guys and learn how to be emotionally healthy by sharing our feelings, we're going to be better guys. We're gonna be better dudes. We're gonna be better boys, men, and sirs across the entire board. So let's have that be our goal and our vision, that we are moving towards being better men by being emotionally and friendship, socially inclusive, and helpful to each other. All right, so here's practical guide number 1 out of 3. Instead of just asking, hey, what's up, dude, or what's up, man, or how's it going, which is a very vague question, it's hard to answer that well and go into depth, ask a categorical question. What I mean by that is asking something like, hey man, how are you doing socially? Have you seen anyone recently? Have you hung out with any friends? Or ask, how are you doing physically? Have you been to the gym lately? Gotten around to golf, done some basketball? How are you doing spiritually or emotionally? Has anything been going on? What's up with your heart, dude? And so it might sound a little silly at first, but these are real questions that will give your friends and the guys that you're interacting with a really clear frame of what type of stuff you're looking for. And guys like to be right. It's hard to know if you're gonna be right when you're answering a question like, oh hey man, what's up? There's not a clear answer. But when you're answering a question that has a clear category of thought behind it, it's easy for a guy to say, okay, he wants to hear about my social life. Practical thing number 2, do not be afraid to go deeper and to push harder when it comes to figuring out what your brother, what your friend is thinking. Ask questions like, hey, can you tell me more about that? Or what do you mean about that? Or can you iron out that thought for me? Or how do you feel about that? Or how did that affect you? What was going through your mind when? These are questions that are not only going to help you go deeper and get a better idea of what your friend, what your bro is thinking, but they're also going to help him process through what he's feeling, which is going to be really, really valuable. He might be for the first time thinking about, oh, how did I feel about that? Or what is my deeper thought, or how was I affected? He might not have thought about that ever before. So it's going to show that you care, and it's also going to help him process through, if he hasn't already, what he's feeling around a certain topic. Do not be afraid to go deeper. It takes balls, but it is totally worth it. Your brothers will thank you, even if they don't actually say it. Tip number 3 is to take the initiative. It is scary as all get out sometimes to ask to get that cup of coffee, to ask somebody to go fishing, to sit down and have a conversation, but it will serve you well, because the reality is that a lot of us guys are nervous about asking for that deeper conversation, asking to go deeper into somebody's life. So take the initiative and step out. The worst that's going to happen is the guy that you're asking to go deeper with, to have a deeper friendship with, is just not ready. And that's okay. We can give them grace on that. They're on their way. But you can be proud of yourself that you took the initiative, you stepped out, and you at least tried. You're gonna find that a lot of guys, especially that you've already had some dialogue with, are not only willing, but they're hungry to have that deeper conversation. They're hungry to know that somebody cares about them and someone wants to know how they're doing. So you're gonna find that this is probably gonna be easier than you think, but half the battle is taking the initiative, getting the gumption together, and moving forward and saying, hey, that was a cool conversation. Do you want to go grab coffee? Do you want to get around a golf? Do you want to play basketball? Do you want to go for a run? And having an intentional time where you're going back to number 2, asking those intentional questions and going deeper with them. I hope those things were helpful, guys. As you're going forward into building healthier male friendships, keep in mind that you're not competing with these guys. A lot of us guys get into this mind frame of almost a competition. We like to compete. That's the reality of it. We like to be best. We like to lift the most, or have the best grades, or have the best outfit, or the best car. This is not the time to flaunt those things.
Shut the up.
In fact, it's the time to do just the opposite. As you're going through those 3 practical things, this is a time to share, to talk about things that you're uncertain about, times that you felt like you were insignificant, or times that you were bullied, or times that you looked around and thought, wow, I really am just the most insignificant guy here, and how that made you feel. Taking that step and being vulnerable and being open about what you've been uncertain about in times when you felt like you couldn't lift the most, or you weren't the most attractive, or whatever, is going to help build trust in your friendship and in that relationship. And it's gonna be hard, because again, our natural instinct, guys, most of the time for most of us, is to be competitive. And this is just not gonna be healthy when it comes to building these stronger male relationships. Put the competition aside and just move forward in knowing that you are making yourself and him a stronger emotional dude, which is gonna make you a better guy in general by having a healthier emotional environment. I hope those were helpful to you. Please take them. Let me know how it's working in the comments below. Shoot me a message or something. And yeah, I'd be really happy to hear about how it's going. And if you guys have more questions or more ideas about things that I can cover and talk about, let me know in the comments below. Peace out, guys. Stay studly.